Crown Gist is on the beat. If you want the truth before it hits the streets, subscribe now and join the family. Don't be the last to know. What happens when the one wife everyone thought was quiet finally roars? TikTok Olori has just thrown a massive spanner in the palace works. She has looked the elders in the eye and said a flat no to the secret covenant bath. Is she protecting her peace, or is she hiding a secret that the water will expose? Today we reveal the explosion in the land of the golden crown that has left the elders shaking and the other wives whispering in the dark. May your name never be called among those who cause trouble, and may you have the courage to stand your ground when people try to make you pay for a sin you did not commit. Amen. My Crown Gist friends and families, we honor the deep traditions of the land of the golden crown, so we use special fictional names for certain sacred rituals and personalities out of pure respect. For weeks, the Golden Crown elders had been whispering, planning, and preparing for what they call the Ìsun covenant bath. This is not just a small prayer meeting, it is a deep, ancient ritual, a covenant bath designed to bind all the wives of the Golden King together in a blood-tight unity. They say it is the only way to wash away the stains of the recent betrayals and make the Golden King trust his household again. But just when the elders thought they had everyone under control, TikTok Olori decided she had reached her limit. For a long time, she had been the one sitting quietly, focusing on her twins and her fashion business, staying away from the toxic alliances and the juju rumors. But when the elders announced that every single wife must go through this 5-day grueling ritual, she didn't just speak, she shouted. "I am not going anywhere," she declared. The room went stone cold. The other wives who were already arguing about who should bring the most expensive calabash stopped mid-sentence. TikTok Olori stood tall, her eyes flashing with a fire no one had seen before. She told them plainly that it wasn't fair for everyone to pay for the wahala caused by a few. She made it clear that her hands are clean. She didn't start the envy, she didn't instigate the fight, and she definitely did not carry anyone's name to a dark place. She looked at the elders and told them her time is precious. She has 2 children to cater to and a business to run. She asked them a question that is now ringing through the land of the Golden Crown. Why should I leave my responsibilities for 5 days to go and do a unity bath when I am already at peace with myself? She insisted that the elders should call out the specific names of those who caused the crisis and let them go and wash. The shock in the room was like a physical weight. The Golden Crown elders, who are used to absolute obedience, didn't know how to react. They have been insisting that this bath is the only way to convince the Golden King and Queen Naomi that the palace is finally safe. They believe that without this ritual, the king will continue to look at his wives with irritation and suspicion. But TikTok Olori has drawn a line in the sand. She is refusing to be dragged into a mess she didn't help create. This refusal has opened up a massive crack in the palace's wall of unity, and now everyone is wondering, if she won't go, what is she really afraid of? My Crown Gist friends and families, the fire that TikTok Olori started in that meeting is still burning and nobody knows how to put it out. You see, the Golden Crown elders were not just shocked, they were offended. In the land of the Golden Crown, when the elders speak, everyone is supposed to tremble. But here was one woman, a mother of twins, telling them that their ancient Ìsun ritual was a waste of her time. The tension was so heavy, you could cut it with a jagged blade. The elders tried to explain the importance of the bath again. They said this is a complex and sacred ritual that requires days of preparation. It's not just about dipping into water, it's about spiritual alignment. They argued that for the Golden King to ever look at them with favor again, he must see them as one. They believe that as long as there is even one wife standing outside the circle, the wahala will continue. But TikTok Olori was not moved by their long speeches. She sat there with her arms folded, looking at them like they were speaking a language she didn't understand. She told them point blank that she is happy there is unity, but if her staying at home to mind her business is not enough unity for them, then they should let it stay that way. She said, I am not a part of the group that is being relegated or punished. I have my own lane. And that is where the real drama started. You see, the elders are insinuating that the only reason she is refusing is because she feels she's on the safe side of the palace. They feel she's being selfish because she doesn't think the king's anger is directed at her. But TikTok Olori's fire was just starting. She began to expose the hypocrisy in the room. She talked about how some people in the palace are specialists in sowing seeds of discord, but when it's time to reap the harvest of that discord, they want to drag everyone into the field with them. She said, in this life, whatever you sow, you must reap. When it's time for you to start reaping your trouble, don't come and drag me left, right, and center to join you. This statement was like a hot slap to the faces of some of the other wives present. The murmuring in the room became louder. Some of the wives were whispering that TikTok Olori is being arrogant. They say she should wait for Olori shadow to return, or for the other wives who are currently away, like the one who is reportedly expecting a child, to come and join the bath. They feel if they all go together, it will be a show of strength. But TikTok Olori laughed. She said she cannot be relaxing at home and then suddenly start preparing for a 5-day punishment ritual for a sin she didn't commit. The elders are frustrated because they know the Golden King is still in a state of deep irritation. He isn't interested in any proof of loyalty right now. He isn't even asking for a ritual. The elders are actually the ones pushing for this because they want to save the reputations of the wives who have fallen out of favor. TikTok Olori pointed this out too. She said if the Golden King doesn't want to trust right now, nobody can force him. Trust is earned, she shouted. You can't use a 5-day bath to force a man to trust you after everything he has seen in this palace. This truth was too bitter for the elders to swallow. They started to realize that TikTok Olori was speaking the mind of many people outside the palace. People are tired of the constant drama. They are tired of the cycles of betrayal and fake reconciliation. By refusing to go, she is basically saying she refuses to be part of a fake unity. She told them she has a responsibility to her children, and her children come before any palace politics. As the meeting began to scatter, the wives were looking at each other with fresh suspicion. The unity that the elders were trying to build has now turned into a new kind of division. Now, it's no longer just the wives against Queen Naomi, it's now the wives against themselves. Some want to go for the bath to save their necks, while TikTok Olori is standing her ground, refusing to let them use her name to polish their dirty reputations. The Golden Crown elders are now in a tight corner. If they allow TikTok Olori to skip the ritual, the covenant is broken before it even starts. But if they try to force her, they might face a rebellion they cannot handle. And all the while, the Golden King is watching from a distance, his silence more terrifying than any roar. He hasn't said a word about the bath, which makes TikTok Olori even more convinced that the whole thing is a waste of time. My crown gives friends and families. The palace is shaking. Will the elders find a way to drag her to the stream, or will TikTok Olori be the one to finally break the power of these ancient manipulations? The suspense is rising, and the next few days in the land of the Golden Crown will determine who stays and who goes. The palace is currently like a house of cards waiting for the wind to blow. The bravery, or some would say the audacity of TikTok Olori has sent the Golden Crown elders into a tailspin. You need to understand that in the history of the land of the Golden Crown, a wife of the king does not simply tell the elders no and go back to her room to drink tea. But that is exactly what happened. The tension in the air is now so heavy, you could cut it with a jagged blade. The other wives are now in a state of confusion. Some of them were already packing their bags for the 5-day journey to the sacred stream. But seeing TikTok Olori stand her ground has made them start thinking. They are looking at each other and whispering, if she's not going, why should I go? Am I the only one who sinned? The invisible lines that were already drawn in the palace have now become deep valleys.
The elders are trying to save face. They have started spreading word that the Ìsun bath is for the benefit of everyone, not just those who are caught in the negative alliances. They are trying to make it sound like a spiritual spa for the soul, but TikTok Olori isn't buying it. She told them that if it's a spa, they should go there themselves. She is insisting that her focus is on her twins and her business. She made a very powerful point that has been echoing through the palace corridors. She said that trust is like a mirror. Once it's broken, you can try to glue it back together, but the cracks will always show. She told the elders that they are trying to force a divine order on a situation that is purely about human character. She said, you want us to go into the water so the golden king will think we're all saints. But the king is not a child. He has eyes, he had ears, he has seen the messages, he has heard the confessions, and he has felt the betrayal. This statement hits the elders where it hurts because they know it's the truth. The golden king is currently in a state of total disinterest. He isn't asking for rituals, he's simply observing the fruit of everyone's labor. Meanwhile, some of the other wives are getting angry. They feel that TikTok Olori is acting like she's holier than thou. They are pointing out that she's only bold because she is not the one facing the heat from the king right now. They say she is comfortable, so she doesn't care if the rest of them are drowning in the king's irritation. The murmuring has turned into a cold war. In the kitchen, in the garden, even in the hallways, whenever TikTok Olori walks past, the silence follows her like a shadow. But she doesn't care. She told them that for too long, people in the palace have been faking it to make it, and she's done with that life. She said she would rather be alone in her truth than be part of a crowd in a lie. The elders are now worried that if they don't handle this carefully, the golden king will see their failure to organize the wives as a sign that they, the elders themselves, have lost control of the land of the golden crown. There is also a deep fear about what the Ìsun water would actually do to someone who goes there with a heavy heart. Remember what we said, the water does not wash hypocrisy. If TikTok Olori stays back and the others go, and then something happens to one of them in the water, maybe they feel that sudden weakness or dizziness, it will be a public disgrace. By refusing to go, she has effectively put a spotlight on everyone else's conscience. The Golden Crown elders are meeting day and night trying to find a way to convince her. They even try to use the children angle, saying that the bath would protect her twins' future in the palace, but she shut them down instantly, saying her children are protected by the God she serves and her own clean hands, not by a ritual she doesn't believe in. The suspense is building because the 5-day window for the preparation is closing. If the wives don't move soon, the opportunity for the covenant will pass. Will they go without her? Or will the whole plan crumble because one woman decided to say enough?
The final hour has arrived in the land of the Golden Crown, and the shockwaves are still vibrating through every royal pillar. The bold stand of TikTok Olori has done more than just stop a ritual. It has pulled back the curtain on the deep-seated fear that governs the palace. As we speak, the Golden Crown elders are in total disarray. They had everything planned, but they never expected one woman to value her business and her children over their ancient, heavy-handed demands. The most intense part of this whole drama is the reaction of the Golden King. While the elders are running around like chickens with their heads cut off, the king has remained in a state of icy silence. Reports say he hasn't even acknowledged the Ìsun bath. It is this very disinterest from the Golden King that gave TikTok Olori the courage to say no. She realized that the elders were trying to sell a solution to a man who wasn't buying. The king is not looking for a 5-day bath, he is looking for a change of heart, and you can't get that from a string. The other wives are now stuck in a terrible position. If they go ahead with the bath without TikTok Olori, they look like the guilty ones who desperately need cleansing. If they don't, they have disobeyed the elders. TikTok Olori has effectively trapped them in their own games. She told them that whatever they sow, you must reap, and she is not ready to join their harvest of Wahala. She reminded everyone that while Queen Naomi was being slandered and Dr. Elizabeth was doing sidelined, she stayed in her lane. Now that the chickens have come home to roost, she refuses to let the palace drag her into a communal grave of reputation. The elders are fuming, the wives are murmuring, and the Golden King is simply watching the fire burn. This explosion of truth has changed the land of the Golden Crown forever. Now, my Crown Geese friends and families,
Before we go any further, I must give you a very important reminder. All these juicy details we have shared today, the refusal of TikTok Olori, the secret panic of the elders, and the silent anger of the Golden King are all rumors and alleged information. These are reports flying across social media and various platforms that have not been officially confirmed by the palace authorities. Please do not take these as verified facts. We are only bringing you the gist as it is heating up the internet. Is this the moment the palace finally breaks into two? Or will the elders find a way to force everyone back into line? Only time will tell, and you can bet that Count Gist will be right here to bring you the fire as it drops.